guys, it's Shanari here. So everybody's telling their ghost stories and their horror stories and going to haunted houses and everything. So I don't have a traditional horror story. Mine is a relationship one, but in reality it's mainly the people that we come across that we should be more scared of, not the spirits and the ghosts, really, you know, for the usual. Okay, so a couple triggers and a couple warnings. I was young. This is like a more of a teenage story or whatever, but it was kind of a adult relationship and situation. So yeah. And another thing, I don't have a thing for older guys. This just so happened to be an older guy that I was attracted to, but he worked with me. Alright, so it was like, what was it, 2009, 2010. It was Halloween. I was working at Party City. And you know how they have like a seasonal job that they'll give you? It's mainly like teenagers and people who are in their early 20s, or if you're a manager, you're older. So I was 17, and me and my brother, we had gotten a job at Party City. It was the best. I had so much fun working there. I was eating up all the candy. I mean, it was crazy. I just loved it. And I got to try on stuff and talk to people, and it was so much fun. And you got like a discount on costumes. People were stealing. I stole a little bit. You know, let's just be realistic here. Keep it real. So anyway, there was this guy. His name was Andrew. You guys know I'm bad with pseudonyms or whatever, fake names, so it's just easy for me to just keep it real. His name was Andrew, and he was so cute in my opinion at the time. Now, I did not have a thing for bad boys, but he was just interesting for some reason. So he had like tattoos, tribal tattoos, like the utmost douchebaggery that you can even imagine. It was him. He had like really long hair. It was weird. He had really long hair. It was long, like long as my weave, maybe like 24 inches. And he was white and Peruvian, so he looked like a Native American. He was just cute. So anyway, he wasn't that great at his job, and he was just a lot of fun, so we would hang out. Well, I would always mess with him. I was really flirty, because when I like something like a guy, I really go after that person or whatever I like. And I was just infatuated. Like, I would see him, and when I would go home, I would think about him. Coming to work, he would not be working. Like, my whole day was just messed up, and we had only said a few words to each other. So it was just a crush. Anyway, one day we're at work, and I'm just like, okay, he needs to be mine. Like, I literally can't take it anymore, like, if he's not mine. So I just keep messing with him or whatever, and I was just being really flirty. Sorry guys, I know there's like some OCD people here. Not OCD, but people who like really hate when things are out of line. So I try. That's why I don't like wearing jewelry, because it's just too much. Anyway, I see him, and I'm just playing with him, and he's like, hey, you want to go get tacos? You want to hang out? And we walk home. I lived walking distance from work. So I was like, sure, of course. Anything, children, marriage. No, I'm just kidding. But you get what I'm saying, right? Okay, so anyway, go to the gas station across the street, get some tacos, and we're just hanging out and whatever. So I did not want the date to end, but his dad was picking him up. Okay guys, there are so many red flags in the story, and now that I'm an adult, I totally see everything. So please let me just tell the story, and I want you guys to know that I see every red flag pretty much that y'all are seeing. I just didn't see it at the time, because I was naive and I was 17 and I had never been in a situation like this before. So now I'm better prepared. Anyway, keep going to work. Now Halloween is coming to a close. Our last day to work is that day. So it's coming closer. He gets my number, and we start talking a little bit before we hang out or whatever. You know, we're talking on the phone. He calls me. He doesn't have a cell phone yet. He has like a house phone. So he calls me from there, and you know, we're just hanging out. So one day he's like, hey, you want to go to a Halloween party? And I was like, sure, you know, let's do it. He said my friend, they live all the way out in like some small town or whatever. And I was like, yes. Okay, so it was just so much fun. So after work, I go home, I get dressed, and I put on this really cute cat costume. It was just a leotard and like some stockings, you know, those I forget what they're called, but they're the stockings. It's like netted stocking. And I don't know, I just looked like a little cat. It was so cute. The crazy thing about this, guys, I have to say, is that he was telling me that he wasn't that great of a guy. But you know how you think, oh, they're just saying that. I was so infatuated that I was literally ignoring all the warning signs or anything. Like, even with him saying, he didn't tell me that he was necessarily like on drugs anymore, but he was saying that when he went to jail, he was in there for so long that I just figured, oh, okay, well, you're okay now. But no, for some people, like, when you've been doing drugs for so long, just because you go a year without doing it and it's cold turkey, that doesn't mean anything, especially if you're not getting like drug counseling or anything. They just cut you off, but you still have that fiending for it, or whatever they call it. So yeah, he had been having like what is that called? He had been having withdrawal even when me and him were together. Because sometimes he just didn't have any money to go get more, so he was sick all the time. Oh God, like, just listening to it now, I was just reading some diary papers and I was like, this boy, because in my diary papers I was so naive, guys. I was like, you know, today Andrew is sick, I feel sorry for him, I'm gonna make him some soup. He's sick because he's in withdrawal and he's not used to it. Like, even like one day is that for him. So yeah, get to the house party, and the first thing I noticed is that it's kind of like a redneck area. So you guys can kind of tell where the story is going. I get there, and to my defense, guys, well, no, not to my defense, it was just redneck, a bunch of white people. There was maybe like 1 or 2 black people there, but they were kind of leaving when we were getting there, so I was the only black person there, okay? So anyway, there was one guy, as soon as I get there, he's dressed as a black person. He said, yeah, I'm going as a black person. He had like a jersey, and I was like, black people don't even dress like this anymore, you know? Anyway, it was racist, it was stupid, and it was ignorant. So I was like, okay, this is as bad as it's gonna get, you know? But anyway, keep going around the party, and I played my very first ping, what is that called? It's called like beer pong. Yeah, I played my very first game of beer pong with them, and I don't know, beer pong is nasty to me. I feel like it kept dropping on the floor, and I had to put it in the water, and I had to, like, it was just nasty. Am I the only one? And then you had to drink the nasty beer that the ball just fell into. I think that's disgusting. I played along with it. So the night's going on, and I don't know anybody, and my dude, Andrew, he's just kind of like hanging out with his friends, and I don't know anybody, so I'm kind of ready to go home. So we're kind of looking for our ride, and our ride leaves us. I knew that was going to happen. I ended up calling my mom. She's not coming all the way out there, and she doesn't even really know where that is, where we were. And she was like, I'm not coming to come get you. So I was like, dang. So we go out. So we have to spend the night. I have to spend the night in my cat costume. My mom was so upset. And his dad was upset with him because he doesn't take responsibility for himself and whatnot. So anyway, we end up spending the night. But then I get woken up in the middle of the night by this really racist white guy. Like, he's like screaming like, I hate niggers. You know, he kept saying that, and he was like saying that he was at a party, and he said he called them all niggers and they all chased him or something like that. And I was like, what do you think you're asking for? But he was just so loud, and he did this on the phone, kept saying like, niggers, I hate that. He kept saying it. He knew I was sitting right there, and I was so uncomfortable, guys. Like, my whole body just froze, and I was just like sitting there barely wanting to move. And I had woke up Andrew, and I was like, this guy is crazy, you know. And honestly, I just didn't feel like dealing with him. I really wanted, I don't know, I wish I would have, I don't know if I should have said anything or not, but whatever, that's what happened. So we finally leave that morning. My mom was so upset with him. She was just like yelling at him, and she almost attacked him and whatnot. Okay, fast forward. We're still dating, we're still talking on the phone, I'm still infatuated with him, but his dad kicks him out. So one of his friends drops him off on the freeway, and my mom goes and she picks him up. And mind you, guys, this man is 25 years old, right? And I was happy. I was like, yay! Anyway, my mom just has a really big heart, so she felt sorry for him. Anyway, she didn't know if our relationship was serious or not. So he moved in, like literally that day he had to start looking for a job because his money was running out. Oh yeah, before I mention this, guys, the guy, we went out with one of his friends. His friend did a lot of drugs. This was like before Halloween or a couple days afterwards. He took me to Twin Peaks and we ate, and he spent like his whole little like Party City check on me. I know this sounds crazy, but we were talking and I was just like so happy and stuff. Isn't that weird? I don't know. But yeah, we just got along, and I got like a Philly cheesesteak. It was like a buffalo Philly cheesesteak. It was really, really good though. I hope this video isn't too long. Okay, anyway. So we went there, had a little fun, hung out, everything, and I don't know. Things got weird once he moved in, okay? So I was really trying to get on track, trying to get a job and whatnot, and he was too. And he had gotten this little job, like walking feet in front of us. Like it was just kind of like a body shop. He got a job there. He was working there. And they were paying him maybe like 40 bucks a day, 20 to 40 bucks a day. And so, I don't know. So one of his friends, he was like, hey, you want to hang out one night? And we said, yeah, let's do it. We go to his house. Well, it's his uncle's house or something. And it was like in a redneck part too. But his friend told me that he had been doing drugs. Now, the crazy thing is that like the day after we all hung out at his friend's house, the guy who I was playing foosball with committed suicide like the day after. It was crazy. People were just, and it was like another person died too from the party. People were just kind of like dropping like left and right, and I didn't really know it, but coming to find out, everybody was pretty much doing drugs. So this is how I found out he was. You know, our relationship was not going good at all. He was not paying me any attention, and I was just kind of like, I'm the reason why you've been living here with us. He was sleeping on our couch, and my brother would have a bed in the living room, and it was only a 1-bedroom apartment, so it wasn't even enough for like 3 people, let alone 4. So one day we get into an argument, and I'm like, what are you doing? Because I had, I don't know, he just wasn't doing what he needed to do, if you know what I mean, as a boyfriend. So I was like, don't go, don't leave, please don't leave. And he was like, I have to leave, I'm gonna go with my friend, or whatever. And I said, okay, fine. He leaves, and I'm like, what has he been doing? Like, he barely has any money. He doesn't do anything. So I go in his bag, and there it is. There's a sock filled with syringes. Empty syringes, I guess. But I was just like, what the hell? You know, what is this? You know, I didn't ask him about it or anything. He gets back home, and he's in kind of like a better mood, but he's still so I just kind of asked him about it, like, are you doing drugs? He was like, no. And then he was like, well, kind of, you know, sometimes, you know, I do it. And I was like, no, I don't know anything about this. And well, we argued a little bit, but it just was not even worth arguing with. I'm not gonna argue with a druggie, and then all your friends are druggies also. I was just, at that point, I kind of like felt defeated a little bit. Like I was just trying to do anything to kind of like save the relationship. So we went bowling one night, and it was okay. It just, I don't know, he just wasn't into anything that I was into. And at that point, I was kind of like, I don't know, I felt like I felt in love with like the idea of him or something. Like he had like mystery and he was a bad boy, but he wasn't good at all for me. He was doing drugs. He was 25. I mean, I was born in 92, and he had never even dated anybody from the 90s, you know what I mean? Obviously, and I didn't think about that because of that. And I don't know, you know, things just start to deteriorate. Me and my brother, we had a big falling out, one of my brothers, and after that, me and my brother's relationship completely changed. Like, I look at him even now as like a totally different person or whatever. It was a really bad fallout. I'll talk about that later. But the way that Andrew handled the situation, he didn't handle it good at all. And later on, he was like, yeah, I should have did this and I should have did that, and I didn't do this and that. And it kind of like blew it off, but it's true looking at it now, he really should have. And just other things that he kept doing, like he was all around horrible boyfriend. We went out one last time because he was like, hey, you want to go hang out with my friends to their house? It was the same house that they had the house party at. I was like, sure. I didn't really like hanging out with his friends. They were weird, they were lame, they were not that great or nice. But I hung out with them because I just wanted to hang out with him or whatever. So we went to their house. His friends ended up leaving us. And as soon as they left, I woke him up and I was like, hey, you know they just left us. He was like, what the? So as soon as he came to the house, my mom had packed up his stuff and she literally threw him out. I was happy about that, but at the same time I wasn't, because I was still like crazy about him and I was sad. It was good. I knew it was good that he was gone, but it's still like, I don't know, when you feel like you have like a real connection with somebody, which technically I didn't because it was like only one-sided and I was infatuated. When you feel like that, when you feel like that, you feel like you're losing a part of you. So I was sad he was gone, and he went back to live with his dad, which was not that far away. And we still kind of like kept in touch a little bit, but I don't know, it was over or whatever, and it should have been over. I don't know why I do that. I drag out stuff all the time. But yeah, guys, that was my dating horror story, from the Halloween party to finding out he was doing oh, and let me tell you guys, so pretty much he had a felony, because he had literally just gotten out of jail, like the day I met him, or that night before he had just gotten out. He had been in there for like a year or something, and he was in there for drug possession, and he had like a DUI. He also had been in a near-death car accident because he was high and doing drugs and drinking, and his whole leg had like a metal. He didn't have like really any bone. He had some, I think, but it was like a metal plate thing, and it squeaked when he moved his leg. And 2 of his friends had died like the year before. And, you know, so people were dying left and right. And I haven't heard from him in years. Like, after we broke up, he would add me on like social media sites. Like, I remember on MySpace he did put that he was in a relationship while we were together, and then he added me when he got on Facebook. I ended up deleting him because I just don't like the bad memories of him. So yeah, guys, that was my Halloween story. I'm running out of memory, and I'll talk to you guys later. Until next time, bye bye.